Module 1.1, Computers in our everyday lives. Why do we use computers? We use computers for four main reasons as humans: efficiency, accuracy, reliability, and communication. If we look at efficiency, accuracy, and reliability. Efficiency, time. Computers can do things much quicker than people are able to do it. Labor. Computers reduce the amount of labor, so the amount of people that are required to do mentally intensive tasks as well as repetitive physical tasks. They can also perform tasks that would be dangerous for humans to do. And so over the last couple of years, you would have seen, especially like in industries like manufacturing, when they make cars, when they make a lot of food products, canned products, packaging products, a lot of that stuff can actually be done by a computer now. Resources cost money, and computers can be programmed to work more efficiently with those resources, and that would save the company a lot of money. Accuracy. As long as computers have been given quality programs with quality data, they're extremely accurate. So if someone that has created software that has problems, then computers are not going to be accurate. But it's not the computer's fault. It's the fault of the person that has programmed the software that is not accurate. So accuracy that is repeatable is essential when looking at mass production on assembly lines. If you're making lots and lots of motor cars, you want to make sure that you're going to be accurate 100% of the time so that the company is not losing out on money. If the software is correct, the computer is able to perform the same task over and over and over and over with 100% accuracy. Reliability. Computers are able to be relied upon to do tasks accurately without getting tired, without getting bored, without complaining, without asking for money, salary increase, more holiday. Over the long term, computers are more cost effective than other solutions. Communication. The efficiency, accuracy, and reliability of computers, combined with the ability to communicate, gives us the ability to virtually eliminate time and distance as business constraints. You can sell goods around the world. You can have them shipped around the world. You can communicate with your clients around the world at whatever time using programs like Zoom or Google Meet, Hangouts, social media. WhatsApp has got a business component now where you're able to buy things, chat to businesses, communicate and share information in many different ways globally, save on communication costs, interact socially on a scale that we have never done before. And you guys see that with things like TikTok, Instagram, the way in which you're able to just interact socially is something that 5 years ago wasn't even on the same scale. Okay, now we're looking at types of computer systems. So we're looking at PCs, a personal computer. That could be a laptop. That could be a desktop computer. That computer could be an all-in-one desktop. So you just have a monitor, a keyboard, and mouse, but that monitor has the desktop box built into it. Or your Apple iMac, which will have that as well. Your laptops could be a Chromebook, it could be a MacBook, MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, it could be a Windows laptop, could be a tablet, could be a cell phone. So how powerful they are. So when we compare computers with each other, who's got the best computer? You want to look at things with how powerful. And power is determined by the CPU. Is it a Celeron CPU? Super slow. Is it an i3, i5, i7, i9 CPU? Obviously, the higher the number, the better it is. So i7 is far more powerful than an i3. Is it a Ryzen 3, Ryzen 5 CPU? RAM. Do you have 4 gigs of RAM? 8 gigs? 16 gigs? 64 gigs? Those two components tell you the power. The purpose the computer serves. What are we going to be using this computer for? Is it just for typing documents in Word? Or is it for things like a server? So they actually need a lot of resources. So that's going to affect the purpose of the computer. Their size. Do you want them to be portable? The heavier it is, the more difficult it is to carry around. A little 11-inch laptop or a Chromebook is far lighter than, say, a 17-inch laptop. A really old laptop, you'll know, is far heavier than what the laptops are that are released in 2021. Much lighter. Software that they use. Do they use Windows? Do they use Apple, their operating system? Do they use Microsoft Office 365? Do they use Google Apps? Computers are divided into the following categories. Non-portable. You cannot carry them around. So those are going to be your desktop computers. And part of your desktop computers could be a server. Portable, can carry them around. So notebooks, laptops, tablet PCs, netbooks, mobile computing devices. So your smartphones. It's been a while since I've taught this, so the phone models are a little bit outdated. I will update them a little bit. Consumer tablets, your iPad Air, your iPad Pro, your Samsung Tab. So if we look at non-portable, these computers consist of generally a systems unit, which would be the box, which could be built into the screen. A monitor, you'd need your screen, you'd need your keyboard, and you'd need your mouse. These computers are large in size. They're not intended to be carried around. These are also known as a desktop PC. Obviously, that would be an all-in-one desktop PC, and this would be just a general desktop PC. So we get desktop PCs, generally the type of computer that would be bought by your home user. A high-end desktop PC, these are designed for technical or scientific applications. They would often use specialist input devices. A high-end desktop PC could also be a gaming PC. And I'm talking like not a 15,000, but some of your pro gamers, they've got like 100, 200,000 Rand desktop PC. Those are going to be your high-end. They've got so many resources. A server, a powerful computer that is used to provide resources and services to all the computers that are linked together in a network. So thinking about our school network, a local area network, we've got a very powerful server, and that's going to give all the resources to all the computers in the school. Because remember, when you're working in a school, you don't save your work onto the physical computer. You save it onto that server so that you can log into any computer and access your work. Portable. This computer uses a traditional operating system and hardware that has been designed for portability. This device would include a screen, a keyboard, a pointing device, incorporated in casing that's been designed to be folded, take up less space, easy to carry, and it will protect the delicate parts of the computer, hopefully, although generally if you drop a laptop, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So yeah, I've just copied from the textbook kind of ways to separate. So these are all laptops, generally. So you've got a notebook and you've got an ultrabook. What is the difference? Well, your notebook, a machine with a screen size that is greater than 12 to 13 inches. So maybe it's a 15 inch. 15.6 is generally a popular size. Laptop and notebook, same thing. Laptops can have specifications as gaming machines or high-end desktop PCs, but they cost a lot more than their non-portable equipment. So you can buy a gaming laptop, but it's going to cost you a lot more than if you bought a gaming desktop with the same specs. Also, you are limited to how much you can upgrade a laptop or a gaming laptop. Generally, you can just do a solid state drive, replace the hard drive with that, or get a bigger solid state drive, and you could add maybe some more RAM. But there's not a lot you can do. With a gaming desktop or a general desktop, you can pretty much upgrade everything. Tablet PC, they're reversible screen, normal keyboard. The screen is a touch or pen sensitive, so you can use a stylus. The user is able to interact directly with the screen, so it's touch. And you've seen these kind of ones before. Often they've got the keyboard that can separate from the screen, or it's built in and you just flip the screen over and the computer goes into tablet mode. Your Ultrabook, pretty much a laptop, but they do not include an optical drive or physical hard drive, although generally a lot of your laptops nowadays are actually going this route. They remove your optical drive, you don't need it, so anything that you would do with an optical drive, so a DVD drive, a Blu-ray drive, you can actually just download things off the internet. They use solid state drives. They're a lot lighter. So they've got a screen size 11 to 13 inch. They're more expensive than normal laptops because of the specialized components. Although we're actually seeing, I would say in 2020, 2021, your laptop and your Ultrabook are pretty much the same thing. But in purposes for your government exam at the end of the year, your Ultrabook has no optical drive, generally will have a solid state drive. A laptop would probably have a hard disk drive, it's a little bit slower, and generally would have a DVD drive, although in 2020, 2021, generally they won't. But your exam's already been set, so we go with what's going to get you the marks in your exam. Netbook, these are pretty much outdated, though you can still get them. Most netbooks have a screen smaller than 11 inch, so you're imagining an A4 page folded in half. They were really popular at one point a couple of years ago, but people don't generally use them. They do not include an optical drive, they have a lower powered CPU, very, very light on battery. Generally, people don't use this anymore. I think it's quite difficult to actually get a netbook nowadays. Mobile computing devices, we know these, we know how to use these. They're designed to maximize battery life, always be on. They use operating systems designed to use less power, often include touch screen interfaces instead of keyboards and pointing devices. Okay, difference between a smartphone and consumer tablet. So we're looking at, say, an iPhone versus an iPad, or an Android cell phone versus like a Samsung or Android tablet, Samsung, Huawei, that kind of thing. Your cell phone includes an operating system and the ability to install and run other programs called apps. Most smartphones use touchscreen. Your smartphone generally, I would say, would be smaller than 6 inches in screen size. Consumer tablet would be 7 inches and up. And there is a category between a smartphone and a consumer tablet called a phablet. And generally, 6 to 7 inches, you're going to be referring to that as a phablet. Computer in your pocket that's always on provides access to email, internet, phoning, texting, other services like GPS navigation, camera, video camera, games. Tablets are the same as smartphones, with the advantage of having a larger screen to enable more productivity applications. They're great for reading, watching videos, have a much longer battery life. I would say generally in my experience, I find the battery life on a phone much longer than a battery life on a tablet, because a lot of phones in the last 2-3 years have actually got battery management features in the operating system, and they actually put apps to sleep and they monitor your usage and they get the most amount of battery out of your device for you. Okay, categories of computer users. You get a casual or personal user. These type of users are people who aren't dependent on a computer for too many things. They don't spend a lot of time on their computer, just an average person. Typical things they would use their computer for. Maybe some basic office tasks, typing a document, sending an email, internet banking, email browsing the web, social networking, Skyping with friends and family, viewing and sharing photos, entertainment, watching your Netflix. You're not really pushing the resources on the computer. You're kind of just doing the basics on the thing. So here it says, this type of user would only require an entry-level computer. Let's get this block to disappear. Except the possibility of a serious gamer. Because obviously a gamer, they actually need more resources for what they're going to be doing on the computer. So this is a casual personal user. Just think of the average teenager, average person at home. Casual personal user. Soho, small office, home office. This type of business that is run, this type of user might need a general entry-level computer. So if you think maybe your mom or dad's running a little business from home, maybe using a computer a little bit longer than someone who just is like a teenager on the computer for fun. They're doing some business applications, so entry-level computer is going to be fine. So a Celeron, CPU, maybe 4 gigs of RAM, kind of a cheap computer. 4,000-5,000 rand computer is going to do these kind of tasks, no problem. What else would they do than the previous type of user, they would probably do those things as well, but they're going to be doing the accounting of the business, the billing, databases for the client, supplier, stock data, electronic data archiving, planning and scheduling. Your architects and engineers, they would need a better workstation. So even if they're running their own little small office, home office, an architect or an engineer, think of like maybe a video, what do you call them? People that record videos or photographer, videographer, that kind of thing. They would also need a workstation that's going to have much better specs because they're using a lot of graphics. They're definitely going to need an i5 or an i7 CPU, probably 816 gigs of RAM. So they need a far more powerful computer. Power user. Okay, they need the top of the range hardware and software. So yeah, you're gonna have your hardcore gamer, someone that's doing hectic video editing. Like we're not thinking of like someone who does your video editing or photos for like weddings or whatever. We're thinking bigger than that. We're thinking if you think of some of these people that stream on YouTube and they stream every single day or every second day, and they're doing huge amount of video recording, and the video cameras are shooting in 4K or 8K, and so it really requires a lot of your resources. Architects, engineers as well. They want fast processor, large amounts of memory, and storage. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. So these things that take up a lot of space, they need a huge amount of storage. Mobile user. This could include anyone from any of the previous categories, but they require the technology with them whenever they are. So generally everyone, teenagers, adults, if you've got a cell phone, you're pretty much a mobile user. Convergence. This refers to the trend where separate technologies and functions that require different devices in the past are combined into one device that is some of the functionality of the separate devices. So cell phones is the perfect example of convergence. In the past, you would have had maybe an iPod to play your music. You would have had a camera to take photos. You would have had a video camera to record videos. You would have had a computer for your internet and email. You'd have all these separate devices, and yet now a cell phone can do all of those things. All of those separate technologies are now available in your cell phone. Do they have all the features that each individual device would have? No, they don't. But they have the important ones. So smartphones, consumer tablets. So here's an example of some of the different things you can do on them, just like what I mentioned, gaming, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and that's the end.